All right, here's a tree that's down on my daughter's yard on her fence that I've got to remove this tree. It's broken in half. It's a dead tree, guy. I got a lot of comments. Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that to this live tree. I'm not in the national forest. A lot of these videos, I'm on private property. People own this property. It needs to be cleared or what have you. I'm not just out in like a national forest, you know, doing forestry for them. I'm not doing that. These are old trees that are going to come down, or they are down, or they're dead. They're not going to survive no matter what. So that's, you know, if you're concerned about me killing trees. But all right, so this tree is actually kind of rotted, but I just wanted to dig this tip in a little bit more. Again, not going to try to break it. We'll just do a little bit more. Now, physics does play a role. I don't care how good the knife is. If the tip is thin enough and you jam it into enough material and snap it over, yeah, you can snap the tip. That's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a heat treat problem or a steel problem or anything like that. Sometimes it's just you've reached a point in the law of physics and that's what happens. But this one seems to be doing okay. All right, you can see the tip there, still fine. It looks like it's still listing over to the left a little bit, which is how it was when I first got it. So I'm not quite sure that I did bend it back at all. Probably didn't. Yeah, definitely satisfied that that tip is okay. Hey guys, it's Paul from Common Sense Outdoorsman. I have another knife to show you here, a nice budget knife that you can get on Amazon. And Leon from Lynx Gear contacted me a while ago. I'm a little bit late on this video, but he sent me this knife to test. And I'm not sure if there's a name for this knife, but this is the Lynx Gear Survival Bushcraft EDC fixed blade knife. Okay, this is D2 steel, and it's about 9.5 inches long. The blade length is 4.5 inches, weighs about 8 ounces. It's 0.15 inch thick D2 steel HRC 59. Okay, nicely done, well done. You can see the jimping there. That is comfortable. It's not, you know, super grippy, but there's some jimping there if you like that. Doesn't really matter too much to me, and I'll tell you why specifically on this knife. Nice micarta handles, very well done. All the edges are all smooth and rounded, very comfortable handle. It's got a couple of grooved cutout areas there on each side of the knife, and then it has, which looks to me like a bow drill divot on each side, or if it's not meant for that, I don't see why you couldn't use it for that. It's got a couple of fasteners. They look like a Torx bit, not sure what size that would be. Nice lanyard hold, and you can tell from the tang in the back it's full tang. Not quite sure if it's skeletonized in here at all. Have not taken the handles off. You've got a nice little scallop there on the front part of the handle towards the ricasso. I typically don't like the scallop, but it's okay. But I think I would still rather, my personal taste, just have a full handle there to grab onto when you're doing bushcraft cuts like this or you're skinning. But the scallop is okay. Some people like that. It doesn't bother me on this knife. The one thing that you're looking at on the handle that's important are these two front finger grooves. So sometimes those are so bad you can't use the knife. For me, on this knife, it makes the handle very comfortable, and it does lock in there. I'm going to bring the camera down just a little bit, and it does lock it in there for me. So for me, this handle is very hand-filling. The knife doesn't rock very much back and forth. I like that because it does have the front part of the front finger groove there that you can lock into, and you've got good width here, so it does fill my hand. I like that very much. And it does have a nice sharpening choil there. Okay, so this part of the ricasso doesn't get in the way when you go to sharpen the blade. The grind, the hollow grind, it is a hollow grind, is just under 50% of the blade. As you can see up here, you've got a big flat area, which is nice. Okay, so it should be a relatively strong blade. The hollow grind, to me, in my opinion, is still a strong hollow grind. Okay, I did see someone who did a video on this knife and stuck it in a log and bent it over and did break the tip off. Now, I noticed on mine that my tip was listing, I don't know if you can see that, a little bit to this side. I did, in my prior use, stick it in a tree and kind of try to bend it over slightly, and I think I did bend it a little bit. So, you know, for D2 at 59, the steel shouldn't be that bendy. I could be mistaken. My eyes are getting older, but it seemed like I did bend it over back a little bit. But anyways, we'll test the tip a little bit, and I'll continue to use this knife and test that tip. We'll see what happens with it. I don't, when I do some work with the tip, I don't intentionally try to break it. I just try to put force on it by looking at the tip. I try to put enough force on there that it should be able to take, and it does thin out, as you can see the hollow grind of the tip there, but it's not that incredibly thin to me, so it should take a little bit of stress and strain, in my opinion. Now the hollow grind, like I said, is fairly a strong hollow grind, but my knife did come really sharp. Okay, the edge is sharp on that relief grind, but I do think on my specific knife, that relief grind is a little thick for me. I'm going to end up eventually thinning it out and put on there kind of my customary, more of a convex of a grind, because when I try to feather with this knife, I noticed that you got to really give it some angle to get those feathers. So I would like to thin that out a little bit. That's just on my knife. Other knives, videos I've watched, they seem to be pretty good slicers. Mine, in my opinion, is a little bit thick on the edge. Not a problem. I can take that off and make my knife my own, and I recommend that you should do that, you know, with your knife. Always take your knife and set it up the way you like. Make it your own. Okay, so what else can I say about this knife? I think I pretty much covered all of that. Let's move the camera and put this to work a little bit. Before we go to work, I wanted to show you the box. Just a nice simple white box that it comes in. There is the tag on the end there, and in the box they also included a nice little cleaning cloth with the old links on there. Okay. Oh, that looks like I didn't take it out of there, but that looks like a Lynx sticker. There's a sticker in there. So very nice to get a little bit extra. And this knife, you will find these on Amazon, and they are less than $23. I've seen them at that price for quite a while now. So for a D2 knife of this build quality so far, in my opinion, that's a great deal. And oh, the sheath, before I get to work with it, you just have a simple nylon sheath, large belt loop. Probably not going to last too long. And one thing is, when I go to put the knife in, I don't know if you can, when I go to put the knife in, see how the bottom, I don't know how you can see that, when it goes in and out, down here, it's kind of rubbing against the nylon there, and I think eventually it could cut that up. I might try to put a plastic sleeve in here and extend it out here to maybe try and protect that. I don't know. Or also, you know, I have hundreds and hundreds of leather sheaths. I might try to see if I have a leather sheath that might work for this knife, or purchase one if I continue to like this knife. But that's the sheath. Simple nylon. There's no hard plastic inside there. It'll do the job. But hey, what do you want for close to 20 bucks? I mean, you're not going to get a real high quality leather sheath. All right, so that's that. All right, let's do a couple of things with this knife. And my grandkids have a pool noodle laying around. So we got some styrofoam here. Let's slice this up, something a little different. But you can see that edge is very sharp D2 edge on this. There is a little tiny roll right about there, right about that spot. Okay, I don't remember if it came with that or if I did some damage as I used this knife earlier. I'm not sure, but it's very, very slight and small and insignificant. But I know it's there, so we'll see if anything else happens to this blade. But so you can see that knife comes with a nice sharp edge, slices through this pool noodle very easily and cleanly. All right, let's see how she does some feathering. Like I said, I thought, in my opinion, the edge on this knife was a little thick, but it is sharp. So, okay, we're getting some decent fine feathers here. For some reason, it's feathering a little bit better than what I thought it did earlier. Maybe it was just me and my lack of skill and talent. I don't know, but okay. So it's doing a little better right now. I don't know why that is, but all right. Okay, yeah. I don't care if my feathers stay on the stick or not. I just gather them up. Another way you can do this is just make feathers into a hat, gather them up. As long as you have the feathers, you can use them for your tinder and get your fire going. Yeah, I mean, not too bad there for some feathers. All right, let's get a little batoning in with this Lynx gear knife. And I don't think, I don't know if you, did I show you the little logo on there? Can you see that? I know I got some shade going on here. Get that arm out of the way. There's the Lynx gear logo on the knife, and then on the other side, can you see where it says D2 up close to the handle? I don't know. It's hard for me to see in the sun, but it does say D2 on there. But let's take this up a little bit. Split a small piece, and then we'll split a larger piece. And I don't expect to have any trouble batoning with this knife. Seems to be fairly sturdy. Yeah. We'll let's do this bigger, heavier piece. This is about a 2.5 inch round. Let's see. That's definitely a better, my bench is coming apart, a better challenging piece. Yeah, that's a little bit more of a challenge. Oh yeah, okay. I don't know what this wood is. It could be sure. I almost want to say it could be walnut or hickory, but I'm not too sure. Bench back together. Went through a knot there. All right. So no problems there. That wood is harder than I thought it would be. Let's see how it'll feather on this harder wood. Okay, yeah, you just gotta, it's sharp, you just gotta kind of bend it over a little bit more to catch the edge to get that angle right. But yeah, it'll definitely do it. No problems there. And I think this piece of hardwood, and again, I'm not trying to break the tip, okay? It's not, go down a little bit more here. Not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to put a little pressure on it. Make sure it just doesn't, let me get a bigger hunk of that. Now in that video I watched where the gentleman, what channel was that? I watch him sometimes, 411 something. You might have seen it. He had the black lynx gear knife, and he seemed like he sunk it into a top of a log pretty good, and you know, bent it over quickly, and it snapped off. I don't know. I thought to myself, it shouldn't have done that. So, you know, this knife may have been a little higher on the HRC scale, and D2, you know, if you go too high, it does lose some of its toughness. So it can happen. And on this bench, I'm just not able to sink it in like he did. But anyways, you know, like I said, I did sink it in a treat a few times and tried to bend it a little bit. I'm fairly satisfied that the tip on mine is strong enough for what I would want to do with the knife, okay? And still that's just a sharp knife, very sharp knife. It's very nice sharpness to it. Yeah, still making those feathers. Yeah. Let's try a notch. This is another piece of hardwood. It's drier than that one, I think, but let's a little bit of notching here. Okay. Yeah. It's comfortable to work with this knife. I think that's important. That's some important feedback from a knife. There is no hot spots on this knife. And even with those finger grooves, with the reverse grip, it's pretty comfortable. Of course, with those grooves and the way the handle is, it's easy to index if you picked it up in the dark. With doing different bushcraft cuts, I don't see it being too overly uncomfortable or hot spots. So like I said, these finger grooves are okay for me on this knife. Usually I wouldn't like that. Usually I would just like a nice organic, more of an organic type handle. But this one's okay. This one's working okay. And the way the blade is shaped with that nice traditional drop point there, this would be a decent hunting knife also. That's a nice a nice hunting knife curve right there. So I think this would be a great great hunting knife, great camp knife, that kind of thing, possibly food prep. Okay. Yeah, okay. Easily notch with that knife, so pretty good there. All right, let's try a little bit of cross batoning. Let's see what happens. See if we can. And the vibration on this knife, as I hold this handle, I mean, very little vibration. I don't know if that's because of the bench I'm using. My bench is flying apart. But yeah, not. Okay. Yeah, not. Handle very comfortable, so I'm really enjoying the handle. All right, this is a 9.5-inch knife, weighs 8 ounces. Not really a chopper, but because of those finger grooves, if you put your forefinger in that second groove back, you can choke back a little bit. You would have to use a lanyard. It does want to come out of my hand. I can feel that, but it's not really a knife meant to chop with. I mean, in my opinion, it's just not big enough for that one. Okay. All right, guys, so what do I think of this Lynx Gear knife after using it a little bit more? I like it more, okay? I think the edge seems to work better than I thought originally. Maybe it's because sometimes after you use a knife for a while, you kind of get used to it. You get a feel for the edge, and it works better. But overall, I'm impressed for close to $20 on Amazon, and I will put the Amazon link in the description box, okay? So that'll be in there for you if you want to get it. Again, Leon from Lynx Gear sent me this knife. I'm a little bit late in getting this video done, but I did want to use it a bit, and yeah, I like it. No problems at all. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your time. It's Common Sense Outdoorsman. We'll see you on the next one.